All right, get this. Imagine raising over $80 million without ever making a single pitch deck for investors. It sounds completely impossible, right? Well, today, we're diving into the incredible story of Wispr Flow, a startup that looked at the Silicon Valley rulebook and just threw it out the window.
And this is the quote that got everyone talking. When the CEO, Tanay Kothari, posted this, the tech world kind of lost its mind. You know, in an industry that's built on formal pitches and endless fundraising rounds, Wispr Flow did the unthinkable. They got the investors to come knocking on their door.
So the big question is, how on earth did they do it? How do you get the most powerful venture capitalists in the world to just show up, ready to write checks? The answer, funnily enough, is a classic startup story. It starts with a huge failure, a brilliant insight, and a pivot that changed literally everything. And it all began with a dream that just didn't work out.
To really get how they pulled this off, we have to rewind. We have to go back to the very beginning. Because Wispr Flow didn't start as a software company. Oh no, it started as this incredibly ambitious, almost sci-fi level hardware project.
The original idea was straight out of an Iron Man movie. The co-founders, Tanay Kothari and Sahaj Garg, wanted to build a real-life Jarvis. Their big idea? A wearable wristband that could read your neural signals, letting you just silently mouth words and have them appear as text. Basically, think to text. It was a total moonshot.
And check out this timeline. They weren't just dreaming. They spent more than 2 years buried in deep, heavy R&D. And here's the crazy part. They actually did it. They built a working prototype. The only problem, they had created a product for the year 2030, but it was still 2024. The tech was real, but the world, well, it just wasn't ready for it yet.
And this is where the story gets really good. This is the turning point. They're staring at this groundbreaking piece of technology that nobody wants to buy. So they had to make a really tough call, one that would end up defining the entire future of their company.
So what they did is what's called a pivot. It's a super high-stakes move, but you'd be surprised how many of the biggest tech companies you use every day started out as something completely different. Slack, for example, was just an internal chat tool for a failed video game company. And Instagram, that was originally a location check-in app called Bourbon. A successful pivot is all about finding the hidden gem in the thing you've already built.
And that is exactly what the Wispr team did. See, to test their futuristic wristband, they had to build a simple voice dictation software. It was just a little side tool, a companion app. But then, they had that aha moment. They realized the software they built to test the hardware was the real product. The one everyone needed right now. The feature was the product. It was sitting right under their noses the whole time. And they didn't just decide to pivot, they moved at lightning speed. The CEO gave the team a 6-week deadline. That's it. In just a month and a half, they completely reinvented the entire company, launched what was now called Wispr Flow on Product Hunt, and it immediately exploded, hitting #1 product of the day and the week. Just an insane turnaround.
Now that massive launch wasn't just luck, not at all. It was the result of a very specific, very unconventional growth playbook that turned a simple dictation app into a viral monster. So let's break down exactly how they did it.
Okay, first, they became masters of generating hype. So they didn't just say, hey, an Android version is coming soon. No, they turned the waitlist into a game. You could actually move up the list by sharing and getting your friends to sign up. And the result? Over 375,000 people signed up before a single line of code for the Android app even existed. That's not a waitlist, that's a movement.
And this right here shows you why people were so hyped. The product was just fundamentally better. I mean, think about using Apple's built-in dictation. It gets it wrong almost half the time, a 47% error rate. Flow's is just 10%. And that's the difference between a tool that's kind of useful but frustrating and one that actually feels like magic. They got there by obsessing over every little detail of accuracy.
That accuracy got the attention of some very, very important people, which led to this incredible, unexpected distribution channel. Pretty soon, it felt like every major VC in Silicon Valley was using Flow every single day. And when people like Reid Hoffman and Mark Andreessen are using your product, they don't just invest, they become your biggest evangelists, telling every company they've invested in to use it too.
And the praise didn't just come from investors. Rahul Vohra, who is the CEO of Superhuman, a company that is absolutely legendary for its product design, he called Flow one of the most important AI products since ChatGPT. I mean, when a guy who lives and breathes product excellence says that, you know you've built something truly special.
But look, going viral is one thing. Getting people to stick around is another. Wispr's team focused on what they call retention engineering. Their goal wasn't just to get you to download the app. It was to weave it so deeply into your daily workflow that going back to actually typing on a keyboard starts to feel slow and clunky. They were building a powerful, sticky habit.
And you want proof that this habit building worked? They have this wild metric they call the zero edit standard. After just a few days of using Flow, people trust the app so much that they hit send only half a second after the text shows up. Think about that. They're not even proofreading it anymore. That is a level of user trust you almost never see.
So, when you take a huge, risky pivot and combine it with a genius growth playbook, what happens? Well, the results are just explosive.
I mean, just look at this chart. Since mid-2025, the company has been growing its users and its revenue by 40% every single month. That kind of sustained exponential growth is the absolute dream for any startup out there.
And what's really cool is this wasn't just a Silicon Valley thing. Their user base is truly global. 60% of their users are outside the United States. And they pulled this off because they were smart enough to launch with support for over 100 languages right from day one. They were thinking globally from the very beginning.
The numbers here are just staggering. An 80% 6-month retention rate? That's almost unheard of. It basically means people who try Flow simply don't leave. And get this, after 6 months, the average user is inputting 72% of all their text through voice. They've essentially replaced their keyboard with Wispr Flow.
But beyond all the metrics and the charts, this is what it's all about. Out of the blue, with no prompting, users started posting online that the product had genuinely changed their lives. When your own customers become your most passionate advocates, you know you haven't just built a tool, you've made a real impact.
So where do they go from here? Well, Wispr Flow isn't just about being a really good dictation app. That's just the first step in a much bigger, much grander vision for the future.
Remember that original inspiration, the whole Iron Man, real-life Jarvis dream? That never went away. It's still the ultimate goal. Flow is the foundation. By building this worldwide habit around using your voice, they are paving the way for a future where we interact with all of our technology just as easily as we talk to a friend.
And that leaves us with one final big idea to think about. The QWERTY keyboard we all use has been around for 150 years, a century and a half. Wispr Flow is making a huge bet that voice is what comes next. And you know what? Based on their millions of users who have all but given up on typing, they might just be right.